Well, look, OPEC is a monopoly, and for years, long before the Ukraine war, it has exacted a very high price from Americans, and I'd seriously explore anything that could be done to undo the harm that that monopoly does. Yes.
Codifying Roe is a major important issue for Democrats. What more can the Democratic Party do to get this?
Well, look, we are having all kinds of different approaches that we are going forward with. Senator Stabenow this week will be talking about some of those issues, and we're going to continue. This is a vital thing. We believe we are on the side of the American people, and we do not want to backtrack. Anything that backtracks on Roe is a non-starter for us. Yes. Well, let's hope this is so important that our Republican friends should not put anything in the way of it. We now have a decision on Title 42. I don't agree with that decision, but it's...
Now I know many of you are wondering who will actually be receiving a fourth stimulus check this year. In this video, I'll be sharing the states and cities that are currently providing their residents with stimulus payments. These payments can be worth up to $1,500. And a recent report shows that out of the American households that received the latest stimulus checks of $1,400, only 19% spent the money right away, as opposed to saving the money or paying off existing debt. Analysts have even said that the spending pattern shifted over the second and third stimulus checks. Households who said they spent their stimulus payments on expenses like food and rent went from 74% of households in the first round to 22% of households for the second round of stimulus. That figure dropped to 19% of households in the third round of $1,400 payments. Analysts indicate that some households, including lower and middle income families, more reluctant to immediately spending the second and third round of payments due to the uncertainty of the crisis, preferring to make the funds last as long as possible instead. The latest stimulus checks came as part of President Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus package. In addition to the stimulus checks, Biden's American Rescue Plan extended the CARES Act, Unemployment Assistance, and Emergency Compensation Program. But the rising inflation rate, it is still clear that lawmakers have to pass additional financial aid for the people. In the coming weeks, Delaware is expecting a $300 rebate check in the coming days. The check will come in the mail, and it's expected to arrive by May 31st. Some Delaware residents have already received it. Lawmakers created the program to help residents deal with skyrocketing gas.
The point, let me conclude by saying this. This is not going to waste money, what we're talking about each year doing. It's going to grow the economies. It's going to keep us in a position where we are the most advanced economy in the world, and where we bring along the people who have made this country. You know, I joke, and I shouldn't get political, but...
And Biden has suggested the inflationary tether for Social Security be changed from the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. The CPIE specifically tracks the spending habits of households with people ages 62 and up. Governors and state officials have laid out their new tax rebate plans. This includes who will be eligible for inflation relief and when the checks will be sent out. This week, payments worth up to $1,000 will be arriving for eligible recipients, so make sure to watch to the end to learn how to receive it. Mississippi has announced that it will end its participation in the federal crisis rental assistance program that has kept people facing eviction in their homes during the past 2 years. Now, the state has still $130 million in federal cash to run the program, but the governor said this month will be the latest chance for residents to apply for assistance. Once Mississippi finishes processing the remaining claims, there will be leftover money to the U.S. Treasury. The program's end comes as rental prices in Mississippi have skyrocketed, and a large percentage of those behind the rent or mortgage say they are at risk of losing their homes in the next 2 months. When California introduced the 2021 Golden State Stimulus Program, millions of residents in the lower and middle income brackets received tax rebate checks from the state as part of a scheme designed to redistribute the state's massive $75 billion budget surplus. The scheme distributed one-time checks worth $600 or $1,200, but this is depending on whether an individual filed taxes or filed jointly. However, the stimulus check program left out individuals who received Social Security and disability benefits because their tax returns showed $0 and California's adjusted gross income. To qualify for the scheme last year, California residents were required to show between $1 and $75,000 of income. In 2022, California is broadening its stimulus program. providing rebates to even more residents. This year's middle-class tax refund scheme will see checks distributed in October of this year, and recipients of Social Security, disability, or other public assistance programs will be eligible to receive this money the time around. The state will issue
Director of Education Trust New York, thank you for your leadership and your vision and your hard work. It's wonderful for Kathy and I to have partners like you who are on the ground actually implementing the programs that we're trying to pass into law, so thank you for that. I want to thank all the other advocates who are in the room. I appreciate all the work you do every day to help our families thrive. I want to thank the YMCA for the amazing programs and childcare that you offer here, which is wonderful, and you are one of the groups that will be eligible to apply for this money, so it's very important that we're doing here.
Now, there are several income tax breaks that will help millions of low-income households this year, as inflation continues to impact the U.S. The Biden administration has confirmed that there are some steps they're taking next to address inflation. The deadline for Maryland residents to claim the student loan debt relief tax credit worth of $1,000 is fast approaching. You have until the middle of the month to apply for the credit, which is aimed at easing the financial toll of going to college. To qualify, applicants must have filed their 2022 Maryland state income taxes and have amassed a student loan for at least $20,000, while maintaining $5,000 or more in unpaid debt. However, students are not required to have graduated to receive the credit, and people who went to an out-of-state college or university may receive a smaller credit than those who attended an in-state institution. The National Economic Council Deputy Director offered further insight into what the application process will look like. He said the application will become available for federal borrowers in early October, and borrowers can expect to see relief 4 to 6 weeks after they submit their applications. He told reporters students are advised to apply by roughly November 15th in order to receive relief. And now tens of millions of Americans are eligible for student loan forgiveness, but you might have to pay state taxes. According to the Tax Foundation, Massachusetts is one of the 13 states in the country where you may have to pay taxes on the loans that were forgiven, but Governor Baker said it's not set in stone.
I've not met a cop who likes a bad cop. There's bad in everything. There's lousy. Let me close with this. We're a serious moment in our nation history, and it's not I mean it from the bottom of my heart. As I said last week, we remain in the battle for the soul of America. By the way, all right, God love you. Let him go. Let him go. No.
Breaking news, new information has been released on Social Security. The Biden administration and lawmakers are working together on Social Security reform. In just a few days, checks worth up to $1,700 will be sent out to eligible seniors. And now, supplemental security income beneficiaries will get 2 checks in September for a maximum sum of $1,700. But the second check is no reason to celebrate, as it's not extra money. In months where bank or holidays occur, that pushes up the distribution date for payments. In October, SSDI beneficiaries will get no payment. The maximum check is